guys, welcome to
The Couples Couch.
the Couples Couch.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Tiffany Melvin.
Honey, what's the Couples Couch?
Well, some time ago, we actually asked our viewers and listeners to send in some questions that they would like answered regarding relationships. So a lot of times when people finish their day, they have dinner and they have their conversations at the dinner table. Well, we actually have our conversations on the couch after we eat dinner for the most part.
When we're relaxing.
Yeah, when we're relaxing. And so we thought about it and I was like, you know what? Let's have some conversations with our listeners of our podcast and our viewers from our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter social media channels. So here we are.
Hey. So?
We have some questions. We have two people that actually sent in some questions and they'll be really good. Make sure if you have any questions that you either inbox or DM us on Facebook or Instagram with your questions. And remember, if you want to remain anonymous, please indicate you would like to remain anonymous. These two questions are actually anonymous questions. So we will get started. The first question is actually from a young lady. She says, my ex-boyfriend of 5 years was recently married 6 months after we broke up. How could he marry someone else so quickly? We discussed marriage throughout our relationship, but he never proposed. I'll let you go first.
Well, I got to go first. Shouldn't it be ladies first?
Because it's the ex-boyfriend. He the one did wrong.
Wait, how's he do wrong?
I'm just saying.
First of all, let's break that down. She said she was dating him for 5 years.
Yeah.
They recently broke up 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And he just recently got married.
Yes.
Or they broke up 6 months ago, he recently got married.
Yeah.
So, what's the problem?
She want to know why he didn't marry her, of course.
Nah, I can tell you why. I mean, I can't tell you why.
Do tell.
I don't know her.
Okay.
But
Why?
what'd she say? They were talking about getting married?
She said that they had conversations before about marriage,
Well,
but he never proposed to her for 5 years. Why? I want to know why for you, young lady. I want to know why. So tell us
there's a
why.
lot of factors to that possibly.
Give us some.
First factor is how was they living? Was they living together? Was they doing things? They should have waited till they was married. Was she treating him like a husband?
What do you mean?
Like doing things a wife would do when she's the girlfriend. And so he has a taste of what it's like to be married to her already. So he doesn't. My mama used to say, why buy the cow when you have the milk for free?
People say that all the time,
Okay.
and they always the ones giving away the milk for free. I just want to say that.
Hey, I'm talking about my mama.
I know about your
First of
mama. I
all.
love your mama.
But no, there's this, like you said, there's a lot of factors. I mean, maybe he saw some things he didn't like in the relationship, and it took him 5 years is a long time, but it took him a while to figure out that maybe she just wasn't a one. Maybe it was some circumstances. Maybe there's something she did. Maybe it's not even her. It's just him, and he realized that he wasn't what she needed, and she wasn't what he needed, and he did her a favor.
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of my observations. 5 years. Y'all have only been broken up for 6 months. He moved on that quickly and got married. So, from a woman's standpoint, I'm just going to say that one, he was just looking for he probably was dealing with this person already. Let me just say that, because it doesn't have to be, but well, there are people that get married after 6 months, but if you're like in a 5-year relationship and you break up and then all of a sudden you marry somebody, shady.
How's that shady?
Shady.
My parents met, they got married 3 months after they met.
But they were not in separate relationships. This is somebody that was dating somebody for 5 years. They weren't in separate relationship, but there was,
I think my mom knew there was a lady that liked my dad at one point, or somebody he was really close friends with, and she gave him an ultimatum like, look at here, either you with me or you can go on with your friend on a
liking
trip
somebody
and
and dating them for 5 years consistently.
I don't know.
And talking about marriage. She said that he talked about marriage. They talked about marriage before.
Yeah, but she said, so listen, you're hearing a woman's perspective. There's probably some missing holes in her story that ain't filled because you need his perspective. But they could have been together, and he realized, like I said, there's some things about her that he wasn't willing to deal with, or it just took him to come to his senses. But it's a long time, but again, we put so much investment in people over time that we have to ourselves, if it's not going in the direction we want it to or would like it to go to on a mutual stance, then we need to know when to cut ties, because sometimes women do it too. Women stick with dudes for a minute and build this history together, and then they find a bigger, better deal, the BBD.
Yeah.
And they move on. And then the guy's sitting there like, wait, what happened? And she done moved on to a better dude.
I don't think guys like really be like, what happened? I think girls are probably more of the what happened, I thought. Because essentially what she's probably doing, she's probably questioning, did he really love me in the first place? Now, if I were her.
She's trying to see her worth.
Right. And that's the problem right there. He doesn't determine your worth. And him moving on and getting married is no reflection of you, but I can see her wanting to know why if they were discussing marriage. But I guess, like you said, there's a lot of things that are missing. Like, have they broken up before? How many times over the 5 years? Did they have any, major issues during the 5 years? It could be that I said, he could have been dealing with the person already, or maybe not.
Or maybe she was dealing with somebody. He broke it off. It's like, nah, it ain't gonna work. I mean,
she wouldn't be asking that question.
Hey,
for the
people
most
are
part.
selfish.
I'm just saying that a lot of times as women, we do stick it out with somebody, waiting on them to do certain things for us to make a move. My thing is, you have to know what it is that you want first, because if you don't, you're going to go along with whatever comes your way. So in this case, it sounds like, I could be wrong, that because they were talking about marriage, that was enough for her. 5 years to me is a long time, depending on how old you are. If you're very young, I don't think that 5 years dating is a long time. If you're older, yes, it is way too long. But she could have, or he could have been leading her on, or it could be her. The figment of her own imagination. He could have been talking about marriage because she always brought it up, not necessarily because
what if
he
it was what she
initiated
was looking for at the time with him? And then here's the other thing. What if she was trying to mold him into what she wanted in a man, and he was like, wait, if you can't take me at face value, I'm going to go ahead and move on and find somebody who can. First of all, we don't know who broke up.
Well, she just said, how could he marry someone so quickly? And I think that sometimes at this point, he knew what he wanted. And he wasn't
just wasn't you.
He just wasn't that into you. And that's, a lesson learned. I'll say I learned that lesson myself, not in that same situation, but I learned not to stay based on someone else wanting me to stay, but to stay based on me wanting to stay. And a lot of times, like I said, if you don't have your own standards of what you want met, then you are the deciding factor as to whether or not it's time to, know when to hold them, fold them, walk away and run. And essentially, it just took him 6 months to count his money when he was sitting at the table. And I was just like,
no, I mean, honestly, looking at the whole perspective, he moved on, and she has to look at it as, I know what it is. You're examining, it's two things. Either your ego gets damaged because you're like, wait a second, I done gave you 5 years, I done invested time, and then your value of yourself. But just because he may not have valued you.
Right.
And you have to value you more than he does, or any man, or any, and men, y'all got to value yourselves more than any woman. Maybe he valued himself enough to be like, this ain't it. And he did. And you know what's crazy? Sometimes we want closure and all these things, and we can need it and stuff, but we also got to know that we have to look at some things as a blessing in disguise. Like, God done showed me like this ain't for me. Because what if you did marry him, y'all got married, and 6 months or a year later, y'all got divorced?
Right.
you know, because of all the stuff. Then, and you wanted something so bad that it really wasn't was good for you when there's somebody else good for you or better for you than him. And just like he might have found somebody that was better for him,
Right.
that matched him. And you guys just 5 years you spent all that time together, but maybe there's some red flags y'all were overlooking. He started seeing them.
Worst case scenario, he already had a chick on the side and you just thought they were together 6 months. Best case scenario, it wasn't you. He just realized that he didn't see a future with you. I mean, you guys were broken up. So, I mean, you might think that 6 months is not a long enough time for him to move on and marry somebody, but we see it all the time.
And
all the time.
If you were looking to get back together, man, I'm one of them people, if you break up with me, it's over.
Well, in that scenario, they did have a history of 5 years.
I don't care how much history we
No,
got.
I'm just saying in general. Like she probably that 6 month time frame. Either they've broken up before and gotten back together, or
it's just,
it has
like
to
I said, it's a lot of factors.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors that we don't know.
And this is just our perspective on your situation. I mean, honestly, find your worth.
Right.
Know that somebody values you. And values you, and that's probably the person for you. But don't go listen to our podcast about don't make somebody the one for you.
Yeah.
But let them be the one for you by how they show you. Yeah. Like, you know, actions. On a biblical stance, you will recognize his fruit by what you would recognize it by the fruit that they bear. Was good for you.
Get it together, Mr. Melvin. Get it
hey,
together.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like,
essentially,
we on the couch relaxing tonight.
You don't have to find your worth. Know your worth. Know your worth.
Know your value.
Take time to learn you. It's no slight at you that he married somebody else. It may be a little bit embarrassing because people know that y'all have been together for 5 years and then up jump he's married to somebody else over a short period of time. But that's okay because what's for you is for you. And that gentleman was not for you. Move on in love. Okay.
Yep.
Second person.
What's the second one?
Let's see.
Here we go.
Let me see what the second one is.
Let's find out. It's one of them ones. Is it?
So this person definitely wants to remain anonymous. It says, I attended my husband's company event and a woman jokingly introduced herself as his work wife. A few of his coworkers mentioned the same and even mentioned she brings him lunch. I didn't find it amusing and I let my husband know. He got angry and said I was overreacting. Was I? Let me start off with this one.
I knew that was
Let me sit up a little bit for this one.
Man, I see you saw my faces when she was reading it.
Mr.
I saw it coming.
Let me tell you something.
Look here, woman, I'm a grown man.
Let me tell you something. Ain't no work wives, okay?
I don't have a work wife anyway.
Okay.
Look here.
Let's keep that together.
Look,
all right. Now
that's a personal thing. Having a work husband or work wife, that's your own thing. But ain't got nothing to do with me.
Okay, as long as it ain't your thing, okay? Because while I may work from home, ain't no work husbands in this house. It's only one husband in this house, and that's the one that reside here. Now I'm gonna just say this. It sounds like she did not cause a scene. The wife didn't cause a scene. Mm-hmm. It also sounds that from the question, she says a woman jokingly introduced herself as a work wife.
So she's just playing around.
No. Jokingly, let me give you the language of women. Jokingly means, in this scenario, this wife does not know who this woman is. She said a woman. She doesn't know this lady from I don't know what.
But maybe she's not telling the woman's name to keep everybody anonymous.
Maybe she's not, but
so
hold on,
because
I'm all fired up about this one. I'm fired up about this one.
We don't even know where everybody works or what they do. Okay?
I'm just saying this. Let me just say this. You see how I start getting the hand movements and the head movements? Oh, I am not for the joking, okay? First of all, lady, I don't know you. Second of all, you real bold.
Honey, it ain't
walking
your situation.
Up to me. I know, but I'm just feeling this in my spirit right now that I need to just say what it is. You real bold coming up to me at the company event knowing that I don't know you and think that it's cool.
I'm glad you didn't take my wife with you to the company event. She might have been at your back.
Because I have my girl's back, okay? My girl might not address you, but I will address you. But let me just say, you real bold coming coming up to me knowing that you don't know me, trying to play it off, talking about something you his work wife.
They just joking though. It could be just a joke.
No, ma'am. And the co-workers, she said, and I quote, she said, and a few of his co-workers mentioned the same and even mentioned that she brings him lunch. Let me tell you something about co-workers. They're messy, okay? They will throw that little salt on a game, and there's some truth to it. They ain't just, this is a man that they work with that.
But what if, what if she was
saying,
actually bringing him lunch because she said, I owe you lunch if da-da-da. Like they were working because they work together.
She brings him lunch and they joking about it. So to me, it don't seem like it's a one-time
Maybe they jealous.
thing. It could be whatever it
Maybe it's a coworker.
It could be whatever
who
it
thinks,
wanna be.
hold on, it could be, hold on. See, I don't believe nothing what you hear and only half of what you see is what my papa said. That's not new either.
Let me see
but
on this
hold on. So, because coworkers can say all types of things because they like mess, right? You just said they messy. So they could be saying anything. They want to see how it's going to go down. Listen, some people sit with some popcorn and want to see how it's all going to play out. Especially, think about it, if you're doing a good job at work, you cool with people, you don't have no problems. There are jealous people. I'm not saying this is a situation, a scenario. I'm saying there's always a possibility. I look at things from multiple angles, multiple sides. Now, the work wife thing, but no one at my job gonna be like, I'm your husband's work wife. Like, Harry, who are you? No, it's not gonna be like that. But like, at the end of the day, you talk to the people you work with. You're cordial. You're respectful. And that's the type of person you are. There are dudes and people who are kind of messy.
When you at work, people know people know how to play with me, if they could play with me, and definitely when they could play with me. They do know that.
Don't play with her.
So I feel like if the co-workers, the little messy co-workers, they probably like, ooh, such and such done brought his wife. I'm going to go and say something. Like she went and said that she his work wife. First of all, she acting like she marking some territory, one that's not hers. So that's inappropriate. The co-workers throwing a little salt in the game, and they saying, yes, you ain't know she even bring him lunch. Now, I'm just acting this out. This is not how this lady wrote this question to me. But as you can see,
she had her twist to it.
As you can see. And then they say she make him lunch. But this is the part that got me. Because it doesn't sound like she made like a...
You don't know.
It doesn't seem like she made a scene from this question, but she says her husband she said she didn't find it funny, which I don't know these people. If the first time you meet me, you think that that's appropriate, that's not breaking the ice. That ain't making me like you know better. And she says that her husband, she let him know that she ain't find that funny. And he got angry at her and said she was overreacting. And she's like, was I? Well, my thing is, your husband should be protecting your feelings, and people should know how and when it's not like she heard this lady's name before. It's not like she know who this woman is.
So and
why he getting so mad? Why he mad?
So if you're not coming home talking about, and don't try to do this because you're being slick, but usually you talk about the people you're connected to at work.
Right.
Especially to your spouse, you say, oh, this person. So when they do meet a member, yeah, he told me all about you. That saying, oh, yeah, he told me everything about you. I remember. Yeah, that's norm. People do that, right? And the wife's going to be like, yeah, he told me so much about you. Thank you. So you have a connection, right? And there are some things that aren't funny or cool. Getting mad at your wife for feeling the way, you got to validate her. We talk about love, listen, understand, validate. So you validate your wife's feelings in this situation. So, understanding. She may be going too far. She may be too angry about it. But you got to keep the cool head, too, as a guy and say, hon, it's not what you think it is, but I'll check it, because, it's respecting your marriage. And you do have to set boundaries with coworkers.
That is correct.
And people outside of your castle.
You heard how the New Orleans just came out of me? You saw how I had to sit up and you saw the hand and the head motions? That's that 504. Don't play with me.
So
I don't know you.
Like I said, I don't have a
become-
work wife. I ain't
Okay.
nobody's work husband. But
That is
then again,
correct.
we just co-workers.
Do not become that familiar. And I don't know you that you could be joking, talking about his work wife. No, ma'am. And I'm not saying that a coworker can't say, "Oh, you know what, Melvin? Let me, this some lunch." But bringing you lunch.
Can I be
all the time?
honest?
No, don't
I've
be
never
eating
really
nobody
heard of.
else's
I've
food.
never really heard of a work wife or work husband until maybe a couple of months ago. I was watching a video on YouTube. No, seriously, I don't.
Oh no, they be
that's
having
not
them, and I be
norm
like,
to me anyway. But
no, ma'am. Okay,
I mean,
now,
some people just playing though.
I'm gonna say her question was she overreacting? I don't think that she overreacting unless she caused like a big old scene. I think that if she caused the scene, even if she was mad, it's his company's event.
Don't want to embarrass him at work.
Right. I would, yeah, exactly.
And demean him.
Right. I would probably which that's not.
But you don't want to embarrass your wife at work either,
Right.
at your job.
Because y'all gonna be the talk even
Because that's
more.
what people look at how y'all handle each other as a couple and how you operate. And the one thing is, look, we don't argue up in public. We don't get into it. If we got an issue, we wait. We come home.
Wait
we
till
discuss
I get in the car.
whatever it
Okay?
is. You see us on the couch. This is where we discuss our issues, or even when we lay into the bed, honey, and then we just have a conversation. And what? I mean, I'm telling. Hey, we do, right?
No, if something go down, I'm gonna remain respectful to my husband out in general population. But as soon as we get where it's just us, no lights,
Possibly the
camera,
car.
action, we about to talk about it. Or
Yeah,
I'm gonna let it marinate in my mind
think
so
about
I
it.
don't overreact. And then I'm going to say something about it. So I'm going to say that the husband, like you said, no, the wife isn't overreacting. If she's expressing to her husband, she feels some kind of way about the whole scenario, because it sounds like it was a bit much, then I think as the husband, he should be there to reassure her that, no, it's nothing. That's just how they, whatever.
They joke around or something like that. But the other thing is, too, you got to, there's another aspect I just thought about where you're saying that,
What was
right?
that?
It was, if the wife is constantly overreacting on other stuff.
Yeah, that's
And so, no, but I'm just saying, because like I said, we only right now with them questions, we getting your side. We ain't getting the other side.
Well, that's the
I'm
side
always
that we
going to be
asked
that
for.
person. I'm just saying, I'm always going to be that person that thinks about the other side of things.
I'm gonna think about it
and look
too.
at it too, right?
But I'm gonna answer the question.
Yeah, I know we answer the question. But look,
don't
so
play no games, okay?
but at the end
No
of the day,
games
look,
ought to be played when it comes to
you have to
my husband,
take everything to consideration,
marriage.
because before we get mad at each other for whatever situation, we have to examine, are we overthinking things over,
I do that sometimes.
and then sometimes we don't. Sometimes I don't. I don't think about overthinking until I don't already. What woman? But like, but we
like,
get
why
into
you tripping?
it. But like again, that we have to stop sometimes and look at ourselves and say, am I overreacting? And if I
Right.
am, let me calm it down. But then if it is something you find fairly offensive or you question just a little bit, it's good to have this conversation, sit down and say, look, these are my feelings. This is how I feel about it. And I just want to make sure, I need you to know. And so we can work on it and fix this together or whatever needs to get done.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not used to the term work wife, work husband. Like I said, I just learned that
don't
a couple
get
months
used
ago.
to it.
So
Don't get used to it. You heard me? Okay.
uh,
Well, thank you guys for watching
Couples
us
Couch.
on the Couples Couch.
presented to you by Faith, Love, and Dreams.
Yes. So if you have any questions, concerns, any discussion topics, make sure that you either instant message us or DM us on Facebook.
Faith, Love, and Dreams on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Right?
YouTube.
Yeah,
we have a
YouTube. Don't forget
channel.
YouTube.
And we will be answering questions weekly. And
Can I throw some? Watch watch us and listen to our podcast.
yeah, we have a podcast, Faith, Love, and Dreams.
Yeah, check it out. And I was your host, Michael, and she's your other host.
I'm Tiffany Melvin, the more sane of the two.
I don't know about all that, but You know what they
Well.
say, birds of a feather flock together.
Well, we'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Couples Couch. Bye.
See you later.